Hello, and welcome back to my channel. I love the holiday season, and I love Christmas trees. Christmas trees are a popular symbol and decoration for the holiday season. The tradition began in Germany and was brought to America as early as the 1830s by German settlers, and then were made popular in 1846 by Queen Victoria of England and her family. In the late 1800s, Michigan and nearby Chicago had many German settlers living there, and it was also the time of Michigan's lumber boom. The desire for Christmas trees was heavy in the Midwest, and many families wanted them in their homes. Many Michigan entrepreneurs took note and found a way to get the evergreens to these destinations on what came to be known as Christmas tree ships, even though it involved taking great risks. Let's learn more about it. One of the most well-known of these Christmas tree ships was the Rouse Simmons. The Simmons was a three-masted schooner that was built in 1868 in Wisconsin. It quickly became part of Charles Hackley's fleet and carried wood from the Muskegon lumber barons' mills to other ports in the Great Lakes. At one point, it was making almost weekly runs from Grand Haven up to Chicago. As many schooners at the time did, the Simmons changed owners several times, and by 1910, she was showing signs of wear. At this time, Mans Bonner from St. James, Michigan, was the majority owner of the ship, and Captains Charles Nelson of Chicago and Herman Schooneman owned the rest. Schooneman and his brother August had been in the business of shipping Christmas trees for years, so he used his new ship to do just that. With the wild and unpredictable weather on the Great Lakes, this could prove to be dangerous business, and Schooneman knew this better than anyone. In fact, the Great Lakes and their brutal waves caused the death of August, who died in 1989 on the ship Esk Thal, which was carrying Christmas trees. Herman still thought the risk was worth it. He was known as a generous and giving man. When he would arrive in Chicago, he would dock by the Clark Street Bridge, decorate his ships with lights, and then families would be able to come aboard and purchase inexpensive Christmas trees. It was not uncommon for Schooneman to give trees away to the needy families of the city as well. He was so beloved in Chicago that the residents and newspapers nicknamed him Captain Santa. By 1912, the Simmons continued to show signs of wear. The weather in late fall, as always, was questionable, but Schooneman still felt the need to go on a late Christmas tree run. While in Thompson, Michigan, he filled the hold with 5,500 evergreens and had them stacked up to 8 feet high on the deck, giving the Simmons the look of a floating forest. The co-owner of the ship, Captain Charles Nelson, was unsure about making the trek, but was compelled to go out of loyalty to Schooneman. They left the port near Manistee on Friday, November 22nd, and headed south toward Chicago. By the next day, the winds had intensified, and the waves crashed against the boat. Evidence shows that the crew tried to throw an anchor to hold the Simmons in the wind, but there was something very wrong with the ship. It foundered off the coast of Two Rivers, Wisconsin, and was spotted lying low in the water with the flag at half-mast. This was the signal for distress. By the time a lifeboat arrived at the location, the ship had vanished with no survivors found. At the time of its sinking, 16 or more men had been on board, including the two captains, the crew, as well as some lumberjacks who were catching a ride home to Chicago for the Christmas holiday. None of the bodies were ever recovered. Not long after the wreck, a message in a bottle washed up in Sheboygan, Wisconsin, corked with a piece of pine tree. It read, "Friday, everybody goodbye. I guess we are all through." During the night, the small boat washed overboard. Leaking bad. Invald and Steve lost too. God help us. It is believed Captain Nelson wrote the message. In December of 1912, a good number of Christmas trees were found washed up near Pentwater, Michigan, and for several years, the trees continued to wash up on the shores of Lake Michigan. Years later, in 1924, Captain Schooneman's oilskin-wrapped wallet was found by a fisherman and was returned to his widow. Mrs. Barbara Schooneman, proud of her husband's legacy, continued his tradition of selling Christmas trees along the Chicago Pier with her daughters, Elsie, Hazel, and Pearl, for many years. However, the practice of using schooners to transport Christmas trees ended in the 1920s when railroads, highways, as well as tree farms made it easier, safer, and more affordable. In 1971, the Rouse Simmons was discovered off the coast of Two Rivers, Wisconsin, by scuba diver Gordon Kent Billrichard of Milwaukee, who was actually searching for a different wreck. In 2006, archaeologists were finally able to dive down and explore the wreck. Much of the hull remained intact, with many trees still packed in the hold, some with needles still on the branches. As with so many Great Lakes shipwrecks, there are many unanswered questions about the sinking of the Christmas tree ship. While early reports suggest that the ship was lost in one of the Great Lakes wild storms, later investigations say that there would have been fairly clear conditions when the vessel was lost. There was a storm that day, but it didn't start until after the Simmons would have been at the bottom of the lake. It was concluded that high waves, combined with an overload of cargo, as well as an aging ship, all contributed to this tragedy. The Christmas tree ships have always intrigued me, as I, like many others, simply love to have a real Christmas tree in my home. The beauty and smells are undeniably one of the most memorable parts of Christmas. I'm definitely thankful that there are so many tree farms in Michigan that we have the ability to tromp through the woods in search of the ideal tree or drive to a local Christmas tree lot and choose a pre-cut one. This year, while looking at your Christmas tree, whether it be real or artificial, remember those that went before us, who made that sacrifice to bring our early ancestors the same joy that you're experiencing right now. What kind of tree do you like to put up? Let me know in the comments below. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.